David. Looking forward today for this new topic, digital learning in procurement and supply chain. Can you first provide a brief background of yourself?
Yes, thanks, Dustin, for having me. It's a pleasure to be on your blog. Um, my name's David Rajakovich. I'm an American that happens to be living in the UK. I started off my career as a U.S. Army Air Defense officer. I have experience working in manufacturing. I worked for a number of years at a procurement consultancy, and most recently and currently, I'm a managing partner at Procurement Academy, which now includes Supply Chain Academy.
Thank you. And my first question is, what outcomes can be expected from digital learning in procurement and supply chain?
Yeah, really, digital learning is just a very efficient and cost-effective way to improve the performance of procurement and supply chain teams. 1 hour of good, what we call high-impact e-learning is just as effective as an entire morning spent in a classroom because you don't have to, the trainer doesn't have to think about examples and explain things. All of that is made very concise. And digital learning, obviously has the advantage of not having to deal with all the travel, logistics, and missed work time that's involved with classroom training. Um, our training focuses really on showing people how to apply learning rather than just providing high-sounding principles and things that people then are left confused about it. How do they go and actually apply it in their job? And that's one of the founding principles of how we build our content. And training is directly linked to improved performance because by the end of our programs, people have not only learned the right way to do things, but they've also actually applied it in their own context.
Well, how do you demonstrate that students can apply what they've learned? And do you have any specific like theory of learning that guides your work?
No, that's a great question. Yeah, I'll take the first one first. So how do they apply what they've learned, or how do we know they've applied what they've learned? And that's easy because they've actually done it in our learning programs. Learners are asked to apply their learning throughout our training programs in a number of different ways, becoming more specific to them as they go along in their training plan. In terms of the second question, we make use of the 70-20-10 model, which is become the dominant model in corporate learning. And that means that 70% of learning is done on the job, 20% comes from conversations with managers and peers, and only 10% comes from formal learning. And our training programs engage learners in each part of that model. And basically each step in our learning program builds off the previous one, and they become more and more practical, what we call application-based, until learners are actually asked to apply it in their own situations and produce outputs. We get line managers involved and even top managers, so we know that our training programs have an impact.
Do you have any good results or success you can share?
Absolutely. I mean, clients stick with us, so we must be doing something right. Also, we're continuously adding to what is the largest catalog in procurement and quickly becoming the largest in supply chain. So there's always more to learn. And generally, clients are hungry to continue adding to their skills, and that is mostly even driven from the learners themselves. In other cases, even though we're not a consultancy, clients establish the models that we present in our courses as their own ways of working. And finally, what I'd like to mention is there's Roche, who's a longtime client, who won the Procurement Leaders Learning and Development Award in 2015, probably the most prestigious award in learning and in corporate learning and development that there is in procurement. So we've seen quite a few good results in a number of different ways, Roche probably being the highlight, but all of our clients, I think, due to the fact that they continue coming back for more and they continue giving us good feedback, so we know that we're on the right track.
Well, thanks, David, for sharing today.
Thank you, Dustin. It was a pleasure, and I'm sure we'll speak again soon.